Welcome to Journey Now, a podcast about following Jesus that takes on serious issues without ever taking itself too seriously. Each week, the pastors, staff, and friends of Journey Church in Brentwood, Tennessee, gather to catch up, share life together, and laugh a little. Okay, a lot. Maybe too much. But along the way, they also explore what it really means to bring heaven to earth, share Jesus' hospitality, and live cross-shaped lives. Part Babel, part Bible, and occasionally even thoughtful and entertaining, this is Journey Now.
There's that. Yeah, that's a problem. All right. Well, welcome to a Journey Now podcast. And it is a eventful season in the life of Journey Church. Don't know why, it just is. And Mike, where would you like to take the conversation today?
It's so good. Kevin doesn't even know how to start it.
He's waiting for Mike to interrupt, and Mike's just sitting here like a docile.
Yeah. I'm like, usually I get welcome out of my mouth, and I can just stop. And now I'm like, I don't know how to finish that sentence. So,
well, the big question that I've been wrestling with, it was an eventful week.
Oh, very.
The big question is the wedding outfit. And
I
feel like
we need to follow up.
I received a lot of text messages about that.
Okay, do we have any progress?
Yes.
Okay, please.
Yes.
Is this collaborative progress?
Are we voting?
Are we
both
competing?
of you guys are
compromising?
wearing the same kilt?
Yeah.
Well, this is what happened.
I forgot about
I
the kilt
found a dress
Yes.
that I liked.
Okay, what color?
It's like a burgundy, which is the
I like
color palette.
Perfect.
You know?
Perfect. And you have burgundy lipstick on today.
I do, and I rent my clothes.
Yes.
Which is really great.
Who doesn't?
And
Yep.
it's economical in this kind of situation because you're not having to go out and buy a new dress.
Totally.
But when you rent your clothes, every once in a while, you get a bad shipment. So the dress came,
If I had a nickel.
and it was like, it looked
No.
like it had been rented a lot.
Yeah.
So
I'm that way with meth. But yeah, go
Sometimes
ahead.
you get
it's
a bad shipment.
Did you
Yeah.
say math?
Yeah.
Right.
Math.
But this is what happened.
Sorry,
I
please.
had this other dress that belongs to me that
Okay,
I
hold on. But
purchased
you got the
recently.
burgundy one?
Yeah.
And you didn't like it when it showed up?
No, it was tattered, it was
tattered
ugly.
is the great
Yeah,
word. For
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's
It was
really good
like a
word.
little frumpy?
Yeah, I tried it on
took
too.
a
It did
picture
not
of
fit.
it and I texted it to the Newly people, and they're so wonderful. They gave me a refund for that particular part of my shipment.
Okay, but that was going
And
to be
I'm
the
getting
wedding.
a bonus item next month.
Bonus. Hey.
Newly
I know.
sponsorship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so
Bonus.
So the burgundy was out. That was the one you were going to
Yeah.
do for the wedding
I was
because it was the
gonna-
palette and it was burgundy.
Yep.
And it was on the palette
Yep.
and it was great.
But what happened was I had purchased a dress in the last few weeks, and it's navy blue, which
Okay,
is
but-
what the groom is wearing.
So part of the palette.
Part of the palette. I wore it to another event on Saturday,
Yes.
which Kevin was a part of.
Oh.
And Kevin was like, "Why don't you just wear that dress?" And I'm like, "I don't know. That's
hold
a great
on.
question."
So
So we collaborated.
Wow.
Yeah.
He helped me see what I wasn't seeing.
Kevin.
So when God closes a door, he opens a
Yeah.
window.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was there the whole time.
It was there the whole
kind of like
time.
true
And I'm
love.
like, "This is an awesome dress. This is what I'm wearing."
Yeah, why rent when you can own?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Navy blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask what the event was that you guys were dressed up as?
It's a memorial
It was a
service.
memorial service.
Okay, next subject. Kevin,
Yeah.
would you say the size of that t-shirt, if you just had to guess?
Hey,
no, I mean, I think it's even shorter than last week. And let's be honest.
I'm going straight defense. of
I'm
Kevin
not saying
right now.
it's bad. I'm saying if I had guns, I would wear a t-shirt
I
like
said
that
to
too.
Mike this weekend, Kevin,
did. He
as
did
you
say
were
this.
teaching, you would pull your arms out to the side.
Yeah.
And it
Like
was like,
Jesus
it
on the
was like,
cross.
There was definitely flexing going on.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it was
that's what
like,
I was trying to do.
I felt like the concealed carry laws were being violated.
Oh, there
faux
it is.
show.
I
There
mean,
it
it
is.
was like, we're not concealing anything.
No.
And this is when Tim and I lost the plot of the sermon. When
Yeah.
you did that, it was
Yeah.
like, and then we spent 5 minutes talking about your arms.
Yes,
We're like,
that'll
man,
hurt.
I'd love to be that toned at 75.
Yeah, I didn't see animals at that point.
Read 'em.
No owls, no nothing. I just saw
nothing.
guns.
Guns.
Yeah. There's a sixth
Yeah.
category.
Yeah.
Guns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't
Where
mess
people
with
just
me.
don't get into conflict with Kevin at all.
Or pit simple? I mean, what would those arms?
Yeah. I'm gonna
What's like
go.
a
You know what I'm
strong
gonna
animal?
go? I'm gonna go with
Maybe a shark.
a wolverine.
Ooh.
No, a shark's already on there.
Yeah.
We got
Shark
it
is on there,
Yeah.
Wolverine. I like Wolverine.
Yeah,
is good.
Wolverine. They're tough. They're
Yeah.
small, but they're tough, and they have guns.
Yeah, large arms.
Yeah,
And they're
very
part of
large
the
arms.
X-Men.
So
And,
I was just
going to say in X-Men, they have a tender side.
Yeah, and he's got a tender heart.
Yeah.
Why don't he said, and I quote, "Why don't you wear that dress?" I mean, the amount of wisdom
Right.
that sits there.
It's true.
You know,
That's exactly how
it's
you
like
said
it's
it.
like you walk in,
Yeah.
you walk in, and he didn't even say hi. He just says because he's been thinking about it, like we all have.
No,
Yeah, I know.
really
He
haven't.
just
Lots
says,
of people have been
Praying.
thinking about it because I got a
Praying
lot of
about it.
input
"Yeah,
this last week.
I bet you did."
I
Yeah.
bet you did.
Suzie, here's what's great. I get none, so I shoot off my mouth and have no problem.
Well, they talk to you about deeply theological things, whereas I get conversations about supplements and clothing.
Okay, I got a question on supplements. I just read an
Dang.
article last night,
Mm-hmm.
all right, in
did?
Women's Health magazine.
Obvious.
I don't have the magazine, but it was on my news app.
Mm-hmm.
And it said taking too many supplements is bad for you. Response.
Response.
Well, I would agree with that.
Okay, so then the wiggle room is how many is too many?
I don't know.
And that's the junior high question.
how far is too far? Right.
Exactly. How many is too many?
Well, I
Right.
think you have to look at your supplements and the dosage that you're taking and making sure you're not doubling up. in
It's a dosage.
areas.
it's a dosage issue. Same with meth.
Just so you
everything.
know,
Yeah.
just so you know, this is not intended to be medical advice on
Nope.
this program.
Yeah.
Just so you know, Suzie is not a medical doctor.
I am definitely not.
Yes.
But people think
there
I
is a
am.
lot of anecdotal evidence on
And-
Facebook about how great these supplements are.
Yeah.
So I would totally trust that.
Anecdotal.
Yeah.
That's a big word.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And speaking of anecdotal,
Yes.
Kevin Dixon, one of the many gifts that Kevin has is
where are we going
Grandpa
now?
Extraordinaire.
Yes.
And there was, it's
weak.
shocking.
I am
shocking
the weak link.
that, the weak link, we'll explain what that is.
Yeah.
Because there is a context to this, but Kevin on Saturday, there was a big thing that happened Saturday. Obviously, we were lamenting all of that's happening in the world.
Yeah.
But there was also something that happened before that,
Yeah.
where Kevin got his weak link chops sort of established.
For sure.
Yeah, and just fill us in a little bit about Kevin, grandchildren,
Oh.
swings,
Yeah.
conflict.
The joy of having grandchildren, I cannot even tell you.
Well, and you're close to having great grandchildren at this point.
Well, they're 7, 6, and
Okay,
4.
But
I mean,
still,
it could happen.
I'm
closer
closer
than
than
us.
I'm closer than the three of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. It's one of those
Yeah, what do they call you?
pop.
Yeah, Pop is so great.
Papa.
Papa.
kind of like Popeye
Papa.
with those arms.
Depends
true.
upon.
That's
Depends
true.
upon which one's talking.
Did you decide that or did they decide that?
Lori decided.
Great
that.
question.
Oh.
Shocker.
Perfect.
Let's talk about your aerobic fitness routine.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
you're at the swing.
Well, actually, what happens is we get done eating. It's
Yeah.
150 degrees outside,
Right.
Yeah.
and all the parents are looking at each other like, "Oh, just stay in the air."
And these
conditioning."
are your children.
Thank
Yes.
you for clarification.
Yeah,
and my children, and my
and they're looking for Pop.
and they're looking for popsicles. Actually, the young children,
yeah, there he
the
is.
grandkids, and they
There
go,
he is.
"Hey, Papa, can you take us to the park?"
Yeah, damn right.
Because I'm the weakest link.
That's what it is.
Because they asked 2 other people, and my daughter goes, "Just go ask Papa. I'd be done with it."
Smart.
Wow.
And
Smart.
they walk over and say, "Hey, Papa,
Yeah.
will you take us to the park?" I can't say no.
No, what you say is, why don't you wear that dress?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what I.
Perfect.
Actually, the 2 girls did have dresses on,
Exactly.
like sundresses.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And so we all went to the park.
Yeah, it's 150.
Me and my 3 grandchildren. They're all holding popsicles.
Now, let me ask you a question. Did you have sleeves on that day or were you sleeveless?
I don't know the tan line he had going on Sunday that you saw. I think he had.
Yeah. Okay, he had sleeves,
Yeah.
definitely. He just
Yeah.
showed us.
Yeah.
YouTube's. Sorry, Caitlin.
So, yeah, edit that. Anyway, so we walked down to the park. That was in and of itself with young children carrying popsicles is always entertaining.
Perfect. Summer
Papa,
day.
it's gonna. Yeah, well, I'll wipe it off.
Okay.
Here, you can have it back.
Okay. Oh,
Hopefully.
did it drop?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Perfect.
Doesn't hurt anything,
No
right?
blow on it.
Yeah, I wiped it off on my shirt.
Oh, Papa, the weak link.
Yep. So we get to the park, and there's one big swing that they all like to swing on. And the argument ensued. Like, who gets to?
Therein.
Yes, the problem.
lies the
And
dilemma.
we only had a half an hour. We didn't have a lot
What?
of time.
Oh, see, you didn't say that on Sunday. I didn't realize there was a time
problem.
crunch.
Time was a problem.
Okay.
If time was not a problem,
Yeah.
it still would have been a problem.
Fair.
Because they all wanted to do it at the same time. So I went through the process in my mind of, okay, how do I resolve this conflict without without hurting any of them?
I'm the weak link,
Yep.
but I need to be strong right now.
That's it.
Okay.
But they got me to the park, and it was 100 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Come on, who's the weak link?
Yeah,
here?
I mean, clearly.
And they didn't care that it was 100 degrees outside.
Of course not. There's a swing.
I don't get that.
Yeah, well, hopefully it wasn't a metal swing, but yes.
No, it was black, and one of those
Rubber.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, that's fair.
And so I thought, well, I just put them all three on there at the same time. They're small. Put them all on there.
Yeah.
And I knew that wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
You actually did that?
No, I thought about it.
Oh.
This is how quick his mind works.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was
Okay, this all happened in a split second.
And then
in
I
his
thought,
brain.
I could have them wrestle for it.
Yeah.
I don't know who would win, but
7-6-4.
I don't know. Yeah, it actually would be a good tussle.
Okay.
Because they're all kind of
They're all feisty in
No,
their
but they're all
way.
mini Wolverines.
and they all have different skill sets. Like,
Oh, that's nice. There's
Yep.
some quickness, I would imagine.
Yeah, the little guy is like,
Yeah.
you're not going to catch that.
Not with two
no,
older stuff.
and one is real athletic, and the other one's just is a little more beefy and could take them.
Yeah, thank
so you kind of go,
Beefy is a complimentary.
it is. She's thick.
I feel like
Again,
I wonder if
sweet.
Find new words.
Maybe don't say that to her
Yeah,
when
I
she's
won't.
older.
Yeah.
Carol called me big boned, or
Is that what it was?
barrel. She called me barrel chested.
Oh,
she
that's
said,
nice.
Husky.
Chested.
You're just well,
Husky.
husky came later. Husky came later, but you're just you're big boned.
So I processed that one pretty quick, thinking,
Barrel-chested.
and then I would have had to explain that to the parents when I got home.
Yeah.
I did not want to do that.
No, not in their
no
two
wrestling.
dresses.
Yeah.
No. Oh, they didn't care.
Yeah.
But the wrestling part was okay. Can't do that. And then I thought for a second, nah, screw it. We're not even going to use the swing. Nobody
Dude, I
gets
love
it.
that. I love
Nobody
that.
gets this
Everybody
swing.
loses.
That'll
Yeah,
teach 'em.
everybody
That'll teach
loses.
'em.
Yeah, put it in timeout from
Yeah.
Susie's.
Yeah. In preparation for the message side note, he asked me, "What did you do when your kids fought over toys?"
Yeah. Put them in
I
timeout.
felt judged.
You put the
She put-
toys in
she
timeout?
put
I
the
put the
toys.
toy in toy jail.
Oh, that's amazing.
There were many lightsabers on top of my refrigerator.
I'm a genius.
the kids were
that
growing
is
up.
genius.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
genius.
everybody
Toy jail.
loses.
Toy jail. Yeah. I do
And
that with meth.
and then I thought I could appeal to the two that I knew would be more inclined to
Yeah.
have empathy towards the third. So that felt manipulative and unkind.
Okay.
So then I said, all right. I looked at my watch and said, we got 20
Here it
minutes
is.
left.
Here it is.
You each get 5 minutes on the swing, and then we'll go from there. And I hit the timer, and the other two, while the one was swinging,
Yep.
and away we went.
Yeah.
So pitched, is that like a
Yeah.
thing you
So
do
it was
on
a softball?
pitch?
Yes.
Yeah, they were pitching over to the
yes.
I
side.
thought it was like how
Yes.
you pitch.
Well, that's
you know,
the
swing.
pitch on the swing
Yeah.
for sure.
That
for
was
sure,
it.
For sure. Yeah.
And it was glorious.
Yeah. Or pitch. The rubber swing turned into
Yeah.
pitch.
Was
It
it the
did.
fat one or was it?
Yeah, yeah,
No, there's no
Yeah.
fat one.
Oh, yeah.
There
Oh,
is
the
not
thick,
a fat
thick-
one.
with two C's on that. I'm
There
just
it is.
curious which one.
So thankful nobody in my family listens to this podcast.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
So true.
But so
I can only say that because that was my whole childhood. Continue.
Yes.
Timmy, you're
Yeah.
big bone.
Oh, yeah,
It's
Timmy.
okay.
Yeah.
Timmy.
Just you're barrel chested, honey.
Yeah.
You're barrel chested.
Yeah. And you have the name Timmy Timmons.
Oh.
So we've set you up for
Sandlot.
success. We've set you up for success.
What does barrel chested even mean?
You know, it's funny when my mom would say that, I just always felt like, oh, I've got a
Yeah.
real strong
Yeah, yeah,
chest
yeah.
and
Yeah.
belly.
It was-
But everything's just under a lot of things.
It's one slope. There is no pitch.
Just barrel.
It's
a barrel. I got
yeah.
a barrel.
Yeah,
chest.
you're in shape because it is a shape. All right, so the genius.
Wow.
The genius of this, and Kevin didn't even know he was doing this.
Nope.
The
I went
genius
through
of this.
all of the conflict styles.
All of the conflict
All of
styles.
them.
So
Yep.
we're in a series.
In my family, when I was growing up, it would have been just fight it out, guys.
Fight it out, guys.
And whoever
So-
comes
so-
out on
Easy.
top.
Exactly.
Whoever comes
Atomic
out on
elbow.
top, you get the swing.
Yeah. So each of those options represented a classic conflict style.
It did.
That we ended up talking about the next day. I mean, preacher genius.
Yeah.
Is how this works.
That was. Yep. Because I was the weakest link.
So what? Go through the swing options.
Yeah.
And identify what is the style behind each of the swing.
Well, wrestling for it would have been competing for it.
Yeah.
So whoever won the contest would have gotten the prize.
Yep.
Putting them all on the swing together would have been, in my opinion, collaborating. We all get to do this together.
Okay.
And
so collaborating is together.
Yeah. Compromise was what we ended up with. Each take turns.
Okay.
5 minutes.
So you don't fully win,
right?
But you win a little bit. Everybody wins a little bit.
But everybody's a little not happy.
Yeah, including Papa.
Well, I didn't care.
Okay. Well, I mean, it seems like it was 100 degrees.
That was different. Who was swinging? I didn't care.
But how'd you pick who goes first then?
The youngest. I went with the youngest.
Youngest to oldest.
There it is. Biblical. Okay, go ahead.
And then the put it in nobody gets it would have been just avoiding the whole thing altogether.
We're just going home.
And then if I appealed to the mercy of two of them, it would have been accommodating.
Right, accommodate. So you'd have been asking them
to accommodate the one.
That's when the squeaky wheel gets their way.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
We see that a lot.
Yeah, we do. And I dismissed that one early on. Yeah. That was one of the first. I'm not going to bother with this because the two girls would have let the boy have the swing if I would have appealed to them.
In the taxonomy, in the chart that you shared with us.
Oh yeah, Sunday, the chart.
There are. What'd you call it?
Chart.
Okay, I thought you were going chart, and I was just going to say, yep. There were animals
attached to each of those.
Each stuff. So lay it on us.
Well, the shark is the competer.
Yeah.
He eats what he can.
Yeah.
The owl is a collaborator. The fox is the compromiser.
Yeah.
The
Tim Timmons.
Turtle is the avoider.
Yeah.
Accommodator is a
teddy bear.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's not
nice,
really
Timmons.
An animal. Yeah, because when a owl and a fox and a turtle and a shark go in a bar, they each have to carry a teddy bear. Different story.
Wow.
And that was called Mumblety-peg.
Yes, I was trying to think what that was. Dang it. Well pulled.
Yes. I was going to name put the title of the sermon on the website as...
I knew Peg was in it. I knew Peg was
in it. You know? And, I want you to know that Sam Barnhart knows all about that game.
Yeah, of course he does.
That's not surprising.
Of course he does.
That is not
a point in your favor.
He probably has a friend that was in a Mumblety-peg tournament.
Yeah, no doubt.
And he lost a leg, and he drives a car now.
He limps.
Yeah.
He limps when he walks.
Yeah,
His
pig's mumbly leg. It was mumbly leg instead of Mumblety-peg.
Yeah.
Then they changed the name to Mumblety-peg after he lost his leg.
That's it.
Come on.
Pigs ate him.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the shark eats the teddy bear.
Right.
Come on.
No, I think you're doing
great. Yeah.
Caitlin, we're so sorry. So Caitlin is here today
in place of Edwin.
Which is way better.
I mean, let's just. I mean,
are there other scenarios in life where we wish that the spouse would come in place of
that could be me often.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
For Suzie, she would want that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if we don't want to go down that path.
I don't know.
Married to Edwin.
Yes.
Or Edwin is married to Caitlin.
Yeah, I mean, last we checked.
I just feel like
we should probably confirm
she's
that.
ignoring us.
Anyways, all to say,
appreciate that.
She's way better than Edwin.
Well, Edwin,
I was so happy.
Let's just say this: the phrase "married up" gets thrown around a lot, but there are times when it really is accurate.
Yeah.
And so this is one of those.
Yeah.
So back to Kevin. Speaking of marrying up.
Yeah.
Same
For
thing.
sure.
Yeah.
So Kevin, what you did with great brilliance and chartiness is
charts
applied that taxonomy to Matthew 18.
Yeah.
How did that play out?
Okay, I think.
I'm sorry, I wasn't looking for how you felt about it. I was looking for more explanatory content of how it is that you tied, because that passage gets abused a lot.
Yeah, it does. It gets abused. So in church, we inevitably get offended, get somebody sins against us, something goes wrong, because we're humans and people need to be together, and in the process of that, offense happens.
It does.
It does. And it's really a lot of what the New Testament is written about.
It assumes all the one another's assume the continued sinfulness
of
everybody.
Man.
Yes.
Yeah. And so as you enter into that, Jesus said, if you're offended, somebody sins against you, go to that person and talk to them. So there's a process in place.
Yeah.
But
it's brother and sister, right? You
right.
made a big deal
It
of
is
that.
brother and sister.
Which stands for?
Jesus people.
Jesus people.
The church.
Yeah.
Right. Relationally.
People of the way.
Of the way.
Oh, nice.
Wow, look at you guys. Filling in the blanks for the guy that's stumbling through his words.
No, but you did the conflict styles in like a split second. You used a lot of brain power.
I live in those.
10 minutes.
Yeah, 10. Yeah, right. So, but with that comes this whole need for self-awareness of how you approach conflict. Because when you do ultimately sit down with somebody to say, hey, you offended me or you sinned against me, and you do it in a way that is a shark, you come with certain energy. Like, I'm going to beat you at this. I'm going to win.
Yeah.
And it usually multiplies the problem rather than solves the problem.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go into it with different energy, compromising energy, or even just aware of the other person's personhood, you can bring resolution to a conflict a lot quicker. But most of us,
what's the goal? What's the healthiest conflict style?
the healthiest, I would argue, is collaboration, because you come to a mutually agreed upon goal and you preserve the relationship.
And you're bringing, like, when you collaborate, you're bringing what matters to you. You have skin in the game, so to speak.
Right. And you elevate the value of the relationship.
That's cool.
And when you elevate the value of the relationship, which is this is where it gets kind of weird in the church, because sometimes people use that to manipulate you. Yeah. So there has to be an awareness of what is going on in that conflict that allows for forgiveness, restoration, reconciliation without manipulation. And I think that's where things get kind of tricky.
So Jesus is inviting us in that first step, to initiate a process of
in
collaboration.
private.
Reconciliation requires two.
Yeah.
So we're each gonna. Yeah.
Right. So don't post it on Facebook. Don't post it on Twitter,
so fun.
if that existed.
Yeah.
But it's.
But don't even go vent about it to somebody else.
Right.
Like, there's a difference between even like seeking wise counsel, getting advice, than like just being somebody who vents without a path forward to reconciliation.
Right. We usually see these things as, and this is where it gets broken and abused. This is where I think Matthew 18 is used improperly, is that we use it as a weapon against the person who did something.
And there's so many church abuse and sexual abuse in churches, survivors that have said that when they've gone to authorities to talk about what happened to them, they're given the Matthew 18 route rather than it being reported when it should be reported. And like,
so it's telling the victim to go straight to that person and say something. Is that?
Yeah, that we can handle it internally as a community in the Matthew 18 style in the body of Christ, rather than, you were like a criminal thing happened to you, and so we need to report it.
Okay, so is this the difference, because you've said this many times, I know there's a question about it, the difference between offense and sin against. So is...
Yeah, that's a really good distinction.
It's hard to distinguish sometimes between those two things, because somebody sins against me. Well, they gossiped, they did something. That's also an offense. So there's a lot of overlap between sin and offense.
What would the definitions be of sin?
Which is the bigger circle? Like,
I'm trying to figure out.
I think sin fits all the way into offense. Like, sin is an offense. Offense can be bigger in the terms of, you just hurt my feelings. You did something that was unintentional.
Or I could have I could have something in me that's like constantly offended. So like you offend me, you haven't necessarily sinned against me.
Right.
You've offended me, but I'm holding it against you.
Right.
And now I'm sinning against you actually because
Correct.
I'm not forgiving you for something and I'm questioning your motive about something. Like, I mean, it can go both ways.
Yeah, and make up stories and all those things. But offense in and of itself is something that we hold personally against somebody, whether it's a sin or not. I'm offended.
Yeah.
Which is rampant in our culture right now.
Oh, and we feed it. We feed the offense, and we make it bigger than it is, and that's where you get your divisions within churches. Is then they get people to align with them and say, "Hey, this happened to me. Well, that's happened to me too," and da 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 da. And they don't address it. They just enrich their offense in such a way that they want to be right and vilify somebody else. That's really pretty common, which destroys. I would argue it is one of the things that destroys churches, communities, organizations, businesses. Crazy. Yeah. So the idea behind the Matthew 18 is solve it quick, solve it right away. Sometimes in those instances, and I've walked through this with people countless times, is that the person that has done the offense or sinned often doesn't know the implications of that sin in another person's life. They don't fully grasp what they've done. And so the initial conversation helps them at least sit with that. And it's better for the whole of the community that somebody who is a habitual offender, like does stuff that's just
Habitual
offender, does repeated damage to the community. And if no one ever says anything and no one ever sits with them, they will go through life doing the behavior that does damage to relationships. And then they look at themselves in the mirror someday and they go, I wonder why I don't have any friends. Whereas in reality, the friendship...
Were you at my mirror this morning?
Nope. I was behind it.
Gross.
I wondered why I looked so good.
But
My arms are really strong today.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, I should probably wear a smaller T-shirt. Seth, do you have a T-shirt I can borrow?
I'd like to see that.
Totally.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just don't know. At times, the idea behind this whole thing is the resolving of conflict, how it helps a community, how it helps individuals. And if people are humble and aware, they learn how to be better people within a community if you practice it well.
So one of the things you were saying was it's not just individuals that have a conflict style, but communities have conflict styles.
Families have conflict styles.
Yeah. So let's go around.
But isn't that because of individual leaders of those families?
For sure. It's the community of leadership that develops the conflict style, for sure. The parents model a conflict style.
Because that starts somewhere.
Right. And you learn it by watching and are rewarded within a conflict style based upon how you are rewarded within your family. It was very clear. There was no doubt about it. I thought everybody fought for what they got. I mean, it was confrontational. It was a compete environment. And the only one that didn't compete was my mom, and she just avoided the whole thing. The rest of us, so it was either compete or avoid.
Yeah. What about you, barrel-chested glory?
Are you talking to me?
You're asking what our
Your family.
I was curious.
Yeah.
I was just
My
curious.
family of
What your
origin.
family?
Family of origin would have been avoid, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think in my family, because I've been thinking about this of how
your home family.
my current home life.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
That's the one with Hillary or with.
Yes, thank
Okay,
you for
okay.
that clarification.
That's one of them.
Yeah. Just clarifying which one we're talking
we
about.
practice all of them.
At some point
I mean, I see them all
at play.
at play. I think our aim is the collaboration, but I think, I think we practice them all. And I was trying to think also, or one of my questions was, how often are there times when collaboration is not possible?
Yeah.
And it just has to be compromise.
Yeah,
Or-
that came up in the gathering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that with kids? It's often your only solution.
Right.
Mm-hmm. and no one's
But
one's really happy.
Where is the line between, like, in a relationship, whatever kind of relationship it is, with like I think about compromise and like healthy compromise and compromise where you're just giving in.
That's accommodating.
That's accommodating. And then there's like the whole like dying to self thing.
Yeah. I think I weigh it all the time. You all do. Everybody does. Is this worth it? Is it worth it to step in? Am I okay just forgiving somebody for doing something without saying anything? Am I willing to live with the consequences of their sin in my life without them even knowing I'm doing it?
Or can I let go of the offense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we do that with small things all the time.
Yeah. I mean, Tim this morning was a little too aggressive at pickleball.
Yeah.
And I don't know, he stepped into my side of the court.
Yeah.
And I
poached a few. Did he?
Did, and I was perfectly capable of those. But I know what he's thinking. He's thinking, Husky over here is not going to be able to get this.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Our team name's Husky. That's
No, it's meaty.
It's Starchski. It's Starchski and Husky. And
that used to be a show.
I was a little sad. Anyway, go
you
ahead.
should be. No, thank you. That's a really good point.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Maybe we could model something.
Our community. How does our community do this journey? Like, what are we in potential danger of, or how does this play out in our community?
That's a good question.
I think we're in danger of accommodating.
For sure. I would have said the same thing.
Why?
Because when you have a high value for hospitality where everyone is welcome,
Yep.
no matter where you come from or what your story is or what you're walking through, there is, there's a fine line between, welcoming people and allowing them to, giving them space to be where they're at. And then also, being able to speak and model and be with them in a way that moves them out of, whatever it is that's causing the conflict. But both, it goes both ways, right?
Yeah,
so
that's good.
Like from a church perspective, we're not a top-down kind of or power over. We strive not to be a power over kind of culture. However, there is, a point where people look to the leadership and ask, like, are you allowing this to happen or whatever? So,
So can I ask you guys a question? Would you be willing to confront Tim about like sharing the net with me in pickleball?
Have you talked to him yourself?
No, it's happening right now. I'm bringing two.
He skipped
He
the whole.
skipped
part of the
chapter 1.
process.
I have not done Matthew 18.
you haven't.
There are 4 of us.
Now we
Now,
have to.
now the whole
You
church
didn't
knows.
go-
Now
you
all
didn't-
12 people.
You didn't go to him first. You did not go to him first.
Okay, that's
Well,
fair.
one thing though, I think that, in 30 minutes, you can't do all of this justice. But I think
man.
one really big thing that often happens in churches and really in all communities and families is triangulation. Like that's a really big problem.
I didn't have time to deal with that.
Yeah. But that happens in. Like,
Yeah, well, Tim and I were talking about how you didn't
Triangulate.
talk about triangulate.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah. And we were like, that was a big miss.
I said, don't tell him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, well,
exactly.
Just
So
let them linger out there in the wind.
yeah, dumb.
Yeah.
You touched on it on the second service, though.
Did I?
The second gathering, it kind of came up a little bit.
In the questions or?
I think so, because I remember thinking, like, there it is, and we could do a whole nother thing.
There it
on
is.
Just that.
There
Yeah.
it is.
Because, you know, it's the classic, like, I need you to pray for me because I'm really struggling with Mike right now. Here's
Kevin,
what he did.
Kevin, I
Can
need you to pray for me.
Yeah, right.
Because
It's that
I'm
whole
struggling
thing.
with Tim.
Yeah. Can you write that down? Yeah.
I just need a vent right now.
Why,
Yeah.
why is that an example?
So,
Right.
blah, blah, blah,
Why
blah,
is that an
blah.
example?
Yes.
It's hurtful.
That's hurtful.
Okay.
I just think this is one of the biggest topics that seldom gets talked about.
I think you're a big topic that seldom gets
And
talked
it's
And
ongoing.
it
It's
is.
like
It
always.
never goes away.
It's always present.
Never goes away. And how a church handles that, I think, is evident in how people treat each other within the community.
I think too, like viewing conflict as something healthy that comes with an invitation for deeper relationship is a game changer.
Yeah. It gives you also the opportunity to practice the one another's.
Yeah.
It gives you a chance to forgive one another, gives you a chance to encourage each other, it gives you a chance to bear one another's burdens, confess sins to one another.
Yeah. And then there are times when someone just needs to look at you and say, why don't you wear that dress? And scene.
Yeah. Scene. There it is. Which dress?
I know Mike has had 10 attempts now to close this.
I know.
Totally. Keep trying.
You got
just
one more
out of mercy.
Out
of mercy.
But it is something
Brad.
to look at conflict through a different lens of not as it being a negative thing.
No.
Well, I mean, one of my friends, Joel, he is the 8 of 8s.
Oh.
And
that's on the Enneagram. People.
He looks
He's
at the
12.
conflict and he's like, oh, good, we're connecting. That's how he sees it. But most other people see it as or many other people see it as a negative.
Right.
But for those who see it as a negative, it might be a gift to look at as just a little bit more benign of it's just something to be aware of and be curious about and what else is happening.
Yeah. And how you enter into it matters.
Yeah.
The energy you bring with it matters. So, with that.
Mike,
and
I've
with
used up
that,
all my closers.
you've
Here's
used them all.
a pickleball hit right to you.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it
a
is?
lob.
Yeah.
You
It was
can
a
have the
lob.
net.
Bye,
He said-
everyone.
See ya. There it is.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Wrap.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Journey Now. If for some bizarre reason you liked it, help us spread the word by leaving a review and sharing it on your socials. Journey Now is a production of Journey Church in Brentwood, Tennessee. Edwin Rivera III produces the show and fixes all the guest slurping, gum chewing, coughing, and other annoying sounds. Randy Hansen provides technical assistance even though he denies it. Grant Opperman edits Journey Now and intervenes when necessary to tell the crew that you can't say that. Special shout out to dear listener Brad Erie and dear YouTube watcher Seth Erie. If there's anyone else who makes it through each week, we're so sorry, and thanks to you too.